I've just been watching YouTube and knitting. The perfect start to the day. Maybe I'll be able to get there. I don't know. Just because, like, you know, once again, I'm slower than I thought I was gonna be. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be honest though, just like every time I could read, I just keep going on freaking TikTok. I have under a minute left. Hello friends and welcome to today's video. As you can see by the title, we are doing another timed challenge knitting video, which I know I just did one, but I started the cloud sweater and I really want to see some work be done on it. So I figured this was the perfect type of video to film. If you're new here, hi, my name's Melanie. I love all things knitting, crocheting, and crafting. And you guys know how this video works. We're gonna set a timer and I've never done this before, but I figured why not throw in different time increments. I've only done 24 hours and 12 hours, but today we're gonna be knitting for 10 hours and we're gonna fit it all into one day. So I think it'll be interesting to see how much we can get done. So it's already 9:03. I wanted to start at 9. So let's go ahead, pull up our timer and get started. So for a little project introduction, I am working on the cloud sweater by Petit Knit. At this point, I think I've uploaded one video already on this project, but if you haven't seen that one, knit my first cloud sweater about a year ago, and it was the first sweater that I ever really knit from a pattern. Before that, I followed like a YouTube pattern for a raglan sweater that was a lot easier, but this was the first time I like read a pattern. And the first time I knit something that was like a little bit more, I wouldn't even call it like a complicated pattern, but you know, it has like German short rows, shaping and ribbing and stuff. So it was a challenge for me. When I made that first one like a year ago, I was still pretty new into my knitting journey, and so made it using Lion's brand Fisherman's wool, which is like a very itchy wool. And then I also did my gauge swatch very, very wrong because I didn't account for the different size of yarn, and I don't know, maybe I used different needles. I have no idea what I did. But anyways, it ended up to be like way too big. I always intended for that one to be kind of like a practice sweater because that was when I realized how expensive yarn could be. And so that was good practice. That being said, I don't really wear that sweater. And so I knew this year was the year I was going to redo my cloud sweater and do it with nice quality yarn and treat myself. And so that's what I really wanted to start the year off with as one of my bigger projects. In my last challenge 12-hour knitting video, I made these sailor slippers. So those were my first project of 2026. This is the second project. Honestly guys, I have absolutely no idea how much I'm gonna get done in this video, so I think it'll be really interesting. Selfishly wanted to film this video because I wanted to get a lot done on this sweater just so I can finish it soon and wear it soon, and you know, I'm just excited about it, which is a good thing. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. And oh my gosh, I didn't even say it in my intro, but if you are crafting with me during this video, let me know in the comments what you're up to as I knit and yap on screen for forever. It's funny because I just finished editing and uploaded the other 12-hour challenge that I did with the sailor slippers. And guys, oh guys, am I a yapper, because I had so many hours of footage for that. I way over filmed it, that the shortest I was able to get it down to was like 49 minutes. And I got some comments and some DMs of people saying that they like the really long videos. So I'm hoping for this one that I don't over film way too much like I did last time, because it just makes it harder for me when I edit. But like, I literally can't help it when I'm filming for a full 10-12 hours. And yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of hours of footage. But let me know in the comments what your ideal length of video is, because I will try to meet it. Because personally, I do like the long videos, or they don't deter me, but I would say my ideal length might be like in the 30-40 minute range, depending on whose video it is. But I usually watch YouTube when I am knitting or crocheting, so I prefer a longer video. I I'm realizing I gave like zero explanation on my piece. Just connected the front and the back. So this means we're just gonna be working in the round for the body for a really long time. I actually do need to measure it to see how much longer that is. It'll give me a better gauge. Okay, it looks like we're gonna be knitting for maybe like 8 or 9 more inches for the body. So a little less than double of this, but obviously we're just gonna keep trying it on until it's the length that we want. But yeah, since we're on the body portion, we're just gonna be doing stockinette for like a really long time, which I hope is not too boring for you guys, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to, you know, make some noticeable difference within these hours that I will be knitting. So hopefully a lot of the sweater will come together. I actually have like no gauge of how long it takes to knit in the body, or like how long I've been knitting to get to the point I'm at on the sweater, because I feel like it's been coming together relatively quick. But then when I think about it, like I have been working on it a good amount. Brought it with me to a couple cafe yap sessions, and I've watched a couple movies and worked on it. I'm really hoping this whole 10 hours is not just me working on the body, because that might be really boring for you guys. So I will try to knit as fast as I can so that we can at least get to like a sleeve or something. When I just measured, we were a little bit under 12 inches. And so I'm gonna remember that. Obviously I have my timer going, but I think it'll be interesting to see how many inches I knit per hour. I've just been watching YouTube and knitting, the perfect start to the day, but I've already encountered a little bit of a problem. It's not really a problem, but I'm kind of just curious what you guys do. But basically, for this sweater, I'm using Drops Air yarn, and then I'm also using this Bernice mohair that I thrifted. I don't know if it's a lot or if this just happened close together, but I've gotten a couple of these factory knots. Can you see that? Factory knots, but just in the mohair. Like obviously if I'm knitting with 2 different kinds of yarn, I'm not gonna get factory knots at the same time. That would be crazy. But my question is, what do you do when you happen to run into a factory knot? Where did my scissors go? I do in fact have 3 pairs of scissors in here, but I'm looking for a certain pair and I don't know where I put them. I don't like it when I misplace things. Whatever, I will use my backup pair of scissors. But I'm curious what you guys do, because at first I wanted to cut only the Bernice, only the mohair, only the one that had the factory knot, cut the little knot out of it, and then, you know, I'll have 2 extra ends to weave in. But then I wanted to do that ideally like on the sides, like either somewhere in the back or like closer to the sides or the armpits. At the back was what I was hoping for, but then I kind of realized it's a little bit difficult to like time that. But yeah, I've just had to do this a couple times already. Now I have so many singular mohair threads flying around because I had to cut the work. Okay, now I feel annoying for complaining about it, because you literally watched the whole thing and it actually took me like 20 seconds to cut it. But you know, it's just more ends to weave in, and then it's hard to like gauge where the factory knot is gonna be. So like this one is kind of on the front, which is not ideal, but then it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like undo the whole front, or just like prepare better so that I can cut it earlier so that it's on the other armpit? I don't know. I'm curious what you guys do. Honestly, I feel like it won't be that noticeable. I'm pretty new to knitting with mohair, or knitting with 2 like types of yarn together in general. But for some reason, I feel like weaving in the mohair will be even like less noticeable than if I were to weave in the Drops Air and the mohair. I don't know. I think I'm just getting a little overstimulated because I have so many like ends flying around. I'm also kind of curious, does anyone here like mid sweater weave in ends just so that they're like not there? Or does anyone weave in the ends like as you go, like every single time you have a new end you weave it in? Because that would be like another level. That might be me soon. I guess the only thing with that is like if you do end up wanting to undo your work and you already wove in your ends, that would be a headache. We are at at almost the 1 hour mark, and I realized that I have absolutely like no idea how much I got done. Like I feel like I'm knitting, you know, relatively quickly, but you know, you can't really tell when you just look at it. Like of course I could measure it, but even my measuring isn't super exact. So what I've decided to do is for the next hour, I'm going to place a stitch marker where I am right now, and then I'm going to set a timer for an hour just to see like how many rows or how many inches I actually do in an hour. And then I think I'll be able to kind of like estimate better how much I'll get done in this entire challenge. So I think this will be very interesting. I'm trying to prepare myself to be very underwhelmed by how much I get done. Knitting for a little over 2 hours now. I'm gonna go ahead and press pause on that. We also just hit the 1 hour timer from when I placed my stitch marker. So this is how much I got done. I don't know. I guess it makes sense. I guess I can't be surprised. This is how much I got done for full in the round body rows, which is 1, 2, which looks like about 7 rows. That doesn't really mean that much to me though, so I'm gonna measure it. Yeah, I think that about lines up to what I was expecting. I knit about 1 inch of work in an hour. So I guess we'll see if we get to arms or if we, you know, finish off the body at all. Just because you know, once again, I'm slower than I thought I was gonna be. Sorry, the light has been everywhere. The light has been absolutely crazy. I had to change out of my hoodie because I was getting hot from knitting. But I feel like lengthwise, like looking at it like this, it does look like it's grown. And I can especially tell it's grown by how much yarn I've used. I think I'm actually gonna try this on over my shirt now because I actually haven't tried this on at all yet, so I'm a little bit curious. In order to try this on, I'm just going to put these on. Thinking back to my last cloud sweater, it's kind of crazy because I think I would like completely remove it from the cables. Just like, no duh, why? I hated trying stuff on. Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm excited for this. It actually looks a lot lighter than I thought it was gonna be. My whole dilemma is that I wasn't sure if I wanted to knit an extra small or small, just because I thrifted the right amount of this mohair to make only an extra small. But if I were to choose myself, probably would have decided to do a size small instead of an extra small, just because I like things a little bit oversized. But it was kind of hard for me to tell just from measurements. But by the way this is fitting, plus the comfort of knowing I could just stretch it out when I'm blocking it, I think I might actually like the extra small. So this is very motivating. I do prefer my sweaters to be like a little bit cropped, so honestly like just past my belly button. So when I look at this, you know, maybe I'll be able to get there. I don't know. are almost 3 hours and 20 minutes into this knitting session. I think now would be a good time to give my sweater a little measure. I feel like I can tell it's growing a good bit longer. Maybe I just had a good YouTube playlist set up or something, but I feel like this has been kind of flying by. I want this to measure about 20 inches. When I started this, I was in between 11 and 12 inches, and we are now at about 15, which is not bad. That lines up with my about an inch an hour. I'm actually going to take a quick pause. I'm gonna heat up some food, and then I'm gonna get back to knitting. Before I go eat, I'm gonna do another sweater try on because I feel like it's longer. It might look exactly the same actually. It feels longer though, because when I roll it down, it's not far from my belly button. Does anyone else really like sriracha on their chicken noodle soup? Also, I said soup, but mine's not really soup anymore. We're like 4.5 hours into knitting. It's getting kind of dim. My apartment just gets not very much natural light during the day, so I think we're gonna try to switch up the position a little bit, move over to the bedroom just to feel like a little reset. It's actually really a vibe knitting here. I like don't hang out in my room at my apartment that much just because, I don't know, I would just always be on the couch instead, versus when I lived at home, it was like I would always craft on my bed because, you know, anytime I wanted to be by myself, I would have to go to my room. But I should just do this more. It's kind of a vibe. I'm trying to decide right now what audiobook I want to listen to while I knit a little bit more. Guys, I really want to be better at reading. I'm gonna be honest though, just like every time I could read, I just keep going on freaking TikTok. I don't know, I kind of feel like all of 2025, I just like have struggled so much to find books that I enjoy reading. Like I just keep on starting new books and not finishing any of them, and I think it kind of makes me spiral because I hate not finishing things, but then maybe I'm not picking the right books. I don't know. The books that I've been picking to read physically and the audiobooks I've been picking, I have like not been finishing anything, which does not feel good at all. But I recently went through all my like Spotify audiobooks and had to just like remove some of them because I swear I had like 8 books that I started and didn't finish. But currently I've limited it down to a couple books that I'm more hopeful I will actually finish listening to. Oh gosh, okay, so this is not great. This is not great to admit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have like 6 books that I'm between 20 to 50% done with. And this is just my audiobooks, guys. This is like a lot worse than I thought it was too. The first one is The Idiot. To be quite honest, I might have been listening to that one in college. I don't remember when I even started or stopped listening to that one. The next one is Wellness. I think I might have started like 2 years ago. And the next one is Remarkably Bright Creatures. And I remember I was listening to that one. I think it was actually the last time I was knitting the cloud sweater in my knitting challenge videos, I think. Right, that one I'm 40% done with. Then we have Air of Fire, which I think I can actually finish this one. I think after I take such a long pause with any book, I get really unmotivated to get back into listening to it because it kind of takes a little bit of brain power to resume and like remember where you left off, especially for this one since it's a series. But part of me thinks that the Throne of Glass series would be way better read than it is listened to because I think I like don't don't pay the best attention when I'm listening to it. I do want to get back into this one. I did like it at some points. I just haven't been like, I don't know, I haven't been that absorbed into it. The other book I'm listening to right now that I've actually been listening to is 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think, which is one of those like very lists, like it's like actually all lists. But it's a nice, thought-provoking book, I would say. I would almost think of it more as like journal prompts or something to get you thinking. But that one might be better as a physical book and then like writing about it rather than listening to it. But I've been listening to that one on walks recently. So I think I'm gonna listen to maybe like a chapter of that one, and then I'm gonna try to get back into Heir of Fire.
The fine line between what you can and can't control.
I listened to a chapter of each of my books, of course, while I was knitting. I think we're due for another measure. This has definitely grown a good bit. You can see from this orange to this blue. I think this orange I placed like an hour into this video, so I've definitely put a couple of inches on here. We're at almost 18 inches right now, which is honestly not bad. We're at about 5 hours and 40 minutes. Hopefully we'll be able to do the ribbing on the body relatively soon and then be able to start on the arms. I think the arms are next. I do want to try this on again also just because there's a pretty good chance that I'm not going to go the full 20 inches or whatever it recommended. Actually, maybe I might, because if this is 18, my belly button is like right about where this is, but I definitely want this to be past my belly button. I probably want it to be about the same length as this white shirt, so maybe another 2 inches would be good. Wow, but we've made a good amount of progress. All right, guys, it's like 3 p.m. now, which means it's already dark in my apartment. So I'm gonna go outside, get some fresh air, go on a little walk, run, try to get some steps and movement in because I've been pretty much on my butt knitting all day, and it'll also be a nice break for my hands. But I'm planning on keeping it quick so that we can get back to knitting. We are 5 hours and 40 minutes into knitting. I think it's going pretty well. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish the body and get started on a couple next steps once I get back. Hello, I'm back. It is about 4:20 now. Don't mind the washer going in the back, but I went on my little run walk. I took a shower and then I made myself a smoothie that I promise tastes a lot better than it looked. And we're gonna get back to knitting now. Listened to like 2 chapters of my book, but I totally forgot the new season of Tell Me Lies just came out. That takes priority. We're gonna watch some of that while we continue to do the body. I think I'm going to, actually maybe I'll just give it a measure right now. Why not? I'm confused because why is it still at 18 inches? We're at like almost 19 inches. Okay, I still have time to go.
I wasn't sure where it was.
I like just learned about pulling yarn from the center and it's been so helpful. It'll be even more helpful when I'm knitting like in public so that my ball of yarn is not rolling around. But is there anything I can do when I get to the end of the yarn so that it's not like falling apart like this? Way better for majority of the ball of yarn, but just the end part, it gets kind of annoying. Well, I guess it would be like that even if you pull from the outside, but I feel like it falls apart more. I don't know, because before this I was thinking about getting one of those like spinner things where you pull from the outside but it's like on a stick that like spins. But then since I've been pulling from the center, I was like, oh, I don't even need that thing anymore. But this is also a little crazy. I can't do this because like I go to the gym at my apartment, but like if I had a walking pad or something and then I had the stick that spins, then like I could knit or crochet and walk at the same time. I don't know, that'd kind of be the dream in life, right? So I I measured it and we're at about 19 inches now, and I just wanted to try it on because I know after I finish the body, there's still 8 more rows. Part of that is ribbing and then part of that is knitting to get kind of the like curled look, but I'm just trying to keep that in mind because I think I might stop. I don't know, it's so hard to tell. And then also like with blocking, I guess I can make it as long as I want, but honestly this is covering like exactly to my belly button right now, and I don't really like my sweater right above my high-waisted jean buttons, my pant buttons, like honestly a little bit longer than this. So I think I'm actually gonna stop here, and then if I want it to be longer I could just like do that when I'm blocking, but I think I'm gonna stop here. We're gonna do the ribbing and then you do 4 more rows. The ribbing and the 4 more rows will probably take like another hour if I'm knitting at the same speed, which I'm probably not because my hand's kind of tired. But then after that, then we will start on a sleeve, which I'm really excited about. I think that will make it feel like it's really coming together. It is about 6:45 and I just hit hour 8 and I'm gonna press pause. I'm almost done with the ribbing and then I have like 4 more rows to go on the bottom, but I'm going to eat some dinner and take a little break because I don't know why, but maybe from doing the ribbing compared to just stockinette and the round, it's making my hand a little sore. So we're gonna take a break, eat, and then we'll finish up. We are at almost 8.5 hours now. For this last like hour and a half, what I think I'm gonna do is go back to YouTube, and thank you to everyone who in my last video gave me recommendations for YouTubers to watch. I actually added a lot of them to the playlist. So we're gonna watch some of those now, and I will just knit along with some of your guys' recommended YouTubers as we hopefully finish off the body. And some of the ones that were recommended were Cameron Kane, Passionate Kelsey, and Sophie Knits Daily. But if anyone has any other recommendations, leave them below because I am always looking for other knitters and crocheters to watch. So let's put that on and finish off on the body. I just finished the ribbing and I just have to do 4 more rows of knit and then we'll be done with the body. Guys, we just hit the 9-hour mark. I have 1 more row until I bind off. The unfortunate thing is I don't think this is gonna last. So I'm gonna have to add in more mohair just for like 1 more row. Not the end of the world, but not ideal. Okay, so like tell me if this is crazy, but I just finished off my last round and I'm gonna start binding off, and I'm like just now coming to the end of my mohair, so it definitely wouldn't make it around this entire thing. And I'm like, do I even need to add in new mohair if all I'm doing is binding off? Like, is that completely insane if I just bind off using only this? Nobody would know, right? Nobody would know, but I would know, and that might bother me. But it's kind of like 1 end to weave in, 3 ends to weave in, just to bind off with mohair. Like, it's not the best timing in the world, but I should probably just add it in, right? Guys, we only have 20 minutes left until we hit the 10-hour mark. I'm gonna be honest, I thought I was gonna have like a whole sleeve done by now, but I don't know, ribbing, I guess it makes sense that ribbing would take a lot longer than just stockinette, and that binding off takes longer, but I don't know, maybe I'm just slowing down. But we have the entire body finished and I'm so excited to try this on. Maybe I should have tried it on like again before I bind it off, but too late now. Oh, it's so cute. I think the length is perfect. I think it's good. It's really wide. Like, I can't believe it's this wide for an extra small. That makes me like really glad that I didn't make a size small, because there kind of would have been no point. Is this too cropped? I don't know. I think it's looking good though. It's looking really neat. Okay, let's see how much we can get done on the sleeve in like 20 minutes. Probably not that much. Probably only gonna be able to pick up some stitches. So we'll see. I unfortunately think I predicted correctly. We have like 3 minutes left, and guys, I cannot pick up stitches for the life of me. I'm only halfway done. Like, I swear I'm doing it as fast as I can. I just like forget how slow I am at these things. And I feel like it's especially hard to pick up stitches with the mohair or something. I don't know. Or maybe just like I'm not used to doing it with the sleeves. I don't know. It's actually been quite bad. And I also have to count a lot, and I'm not doing good at that either. Guys, I don't think I'm even gonna finish picking up my stitches. I have under a minute left. We just hit the 10-hour mark, and I did not in fact finish picking up my stitches. I probably got maybe 3/4 of the way done. Would you look at that? This was some sort of you could call this a fail. You could in fact call this a fail. I'm probably going to finish at least picking up these stitches and then maybe do the couple rows or something. But honestly, I'm pretty pooped from all the knitting today, even though I didn't get done nearly as much as I thought I was going to, and I have a million ends to weave in now. But I think this just really goes to show that like, I think I'm knitting a lot faster than I am. I don't know, maybe I'm having so much fun that I think it's flying by when really I'm spending hours and hours. I have no idea. But this, I can't even say all of this. Half of this maybe, a little more than half of this, but the easier half of this is what we accomplished today in 10 hours. Either way, thank you guys so much for joining me and crafting with me or just hanging out. If you were working on a project, once again, let me know what you were working on in the comments. And if you want to see more session-like videos of knitting or crocheting like this, make sure to let me know. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.